So here we are once more, another enclosure. It was kind of bruised and battered. It's a phaser that I made many moons ago and had painted roughly. So I kind of sanded it down, but you can still see some of the chip paint along here that shows it had a life, which I don't really mind. But if I really, really want to, I'm going to need to properly sand the old ones down. There's a wee bit of, bumfling of paint. I used my beer mat trick to suspend it on a workbench. You can still see where it's ran. Now I think that means that I need to be a little less heavy fingered with the spray paint, which is really difficult because you try and be a wee bit exact to not spray it all over the place. But at the same time, that's what's creating the... You can actually literally see where I've sprayed two bits there. There we go. There's a wee close up of that. So obviously I've went for the MXR script phaser colour, which I'm pretty happy with. So instead of doing the vinyl sticker, which wasn't particularly satisfactory for the chorus, I'm going to try Waterslide Decals. So that's what this one's about. Still in black and white off the LaserJet printer. Suitably pun-based design. These wee graphs, I understand them, whether other people understand them. Depth and rate. Now the problem with the Waterslide Decals is I have to get everything exact rather than just get the orientation of one piece of transparent vinyl exact. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to that, but I think it's going to look better in the long run. So just make sure that my dimensions were right. Yeah, looks pretty good. And I can obviously move it about a fair bit once they're on. I'm a wee bit concerned whether I've got enough space for a knob there. But I also wanted them to be big enough. So we'll see. I might have to find quite small knobs. Okay, so here we are. We have the Waterslide decals on the Waterslide decal paper. Now, I have just read the instructions, which is always a mistake. Two things surprised me. One is that I meant to spray the paper with varnish, with acrylic transparent spray before I cut them out. Now my guess, this might prove wrong, is that is because on an inkjet, if I put it in the water, it would then rub off, because that's what inkjet does. This is a LaserJet, so it's not going to rub off, but that's also why there's a bit there that says test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. The other thing that surprised me is I meant to bake it in the oven afterwards, which is great if you're doing a mug or something like that. Right, so I put that in there. Okay, so lesson 1, make it smaller. Okay, this is harder than it looks. Okay, so I have learned that I do need to spray it. So this is getting more complicated by the second. I have varnished my paper, and I will try once more. I've also discovered that I've watched a couple of videos, and I'm meant to put my implement in the water, which I hadn't really planned. So I'm on the floor now. You start off all exact with these things, and then it just gets more complicated. I'm starting to think I maybe preferred the dodgy spray paint finish. So 40 seconds in the water. That is apparently it done. That wasn't very reassuring. I guess I have to wait for it to dry before I do the next one. Well, that looks shite. What a footery load of shite. It's one of these ones where you see one wee bit that you can improve, and you're kind of 99% of the way there, and you can solve that extra 1% at the risk of returning to 50% of the way there. Well, that went a wee bit better, but still, hopefully the transparent bits will go more transparent in the oven. I can't believe I've just said that. Looking forward to the baking portion of this craft session. I would have been as well doing that with a Sharpie. The ink moves. See what I said about being 99% of the way there. What did you do today? I chased bits of molten plastic round a saucepan with a pair of tweezers. How are we looking? I am not confident. I had such high hopes. I don't know how anybody does this for enjoyment. Okay, I've done this a bit as well as I can. I don't fully understand why that keeps on sliding out of position. So the instructions say set oven temperature to 140, which I've done. Preheat for 3 minutes. Put the mug into the oven and bake for 10 to 15 minutes. After the baking is done, take out the mug and let it cool to room temperature. So I'm going to stick a pedal in the oven for 10 minutes. There we go. I put it in for 10 minutes. And I thought it might get better if I put it in for another 5. It has slightly improved, but it still looks dead amateur. Believe it or not, I think we're back to the vinyl transparent. So I put it in for 10 minutes and then I put it in for another 5. So, and I've discovered that 15 minutes is the amount of time you want to melt paint. So now the paint needs to dry again. Absolute disaster. But I've done it so that you don't have to. So we have the phased and confused with some decals. I'm not entirely happy with them, but it is what it is. It has been a point on my pedal decorating journey, and I can always sand it down and start again, but that's what I've got. So let's see what we can do.
This one's a wee bit so wet.
No, it's not. It's a wee bit wet because you licked it.
I'll go get the other thing.
What other thing do you want to get?
I'm going to get that thing.
Alright, yeah, so, no, you know what, I'll just use new ones.
Oh, yeah, I see.
So we're just going to put these on a wee bit.
Can I put
You
those
want to put on the next one?
I want to do it.
Right, you put that on there like that, right?
I don't know what these do. These are very complicated and they might burn me.
Yeah. And this is going to be really quick, and then the rest of it you're allowed to be involved in. The burny bit is over. We have to get these bits.
Yeah, can I do it?
Yeah. These are called sockets.
Okay.
Can you turn that?
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. It probably doesn't look as bad as I thought it was looking when I was doing the water slide. That was really, really footery. I still prefer the vinyl, even though it's coming off at the side. It just feels a wee bit better.
Where did this one come from and this one?
These are water slides. And it just feels, you know, it feels exactly like an Airfix model.
Can I put it down?
Which is no surprise.
I love the D.
The moon just doesn't add anything other than some bumfling in the paint. The paint isn't too bad after its disaster in the oven where it got wet. You can see where I picked it up with a towel. So yeah, it's definitely homemade. So they're both definitely homemade.
Can I put this
They're both definitely mine. So I probably built this one in about 2007, 2008. And I could not have envisaged that I would one day be decorating it with my wild and spirited 2-year-old daughter. So a reminder of the passage of time. Phased and confused, right enough. Will we see what it sounds like?
1, 2, 1, 2.
Big hand. Can you turn the knobs, please? I want you to press the yellow one.
The yellow one?
With a big hand, yeah. Right, that's pretty cool, wasn't it? That was a good experiment.